Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the New Zealand Ultimate Championships Division 1, brought to you by ULTI.TV and New Zealand Ultimate from Awakarangi Park near Wellington. We are really excited to bring you the power pool play in the women's division between Cannons and Nexus. You've got Avril Tam here and Lauren Burgess. Lauren, what are you looking forward to today?
Oh, I'm really excited to see some really strong defense, some really impressive throws. Even just warming up this morning, Cannons were looking really active, really excited to get in it. And
yeah, there's plenty to look forward to. We had the Cannons on the stream yesterday. They played through a lot of different players. I have to say, Grace Douglas was really impressive, particularly in the deep space. We had Svetanovic, we had Teo Lenartz behind the disc and Tiang behind the disc, who were really powering through and making really quick work of the defense through their lovely handler sets. So looking to see if the Cannons continue on their fiery pace and continue the ride up.
Absolutely. Looks like we've got a really strong starting line. The Cannons are starting on offense. Nexus, we're showing here, starting on defense. This is our first time getting to see the Cannons on stream, or Nexus on stream.
Absolutely. I think they've got some really big stars in number 13, Mara Neal, and 77, Samantha Ruhlman. They're fresh off a World Ultimate Champs campaign. They were at Gold Coast at the end of, in September last year. So I'm sure they'll be looking to stamp their authority on this game.
Absolutely.
And tell us about the conditions.
Conditions today, we finally got less rain. It's dry at the moment. It should stay clear most of the day, but we might see a couple squalls here and there.
That's right.
Our game is officially starting.
Fantastic pool goes up. A little bit of a roll, just forces the Cannons to have to wait to pick it up. Lovely inside break flick. Oh, and a long shot already. Looking for her receiver in Pembroke, and Pembroke brings it down. That is a 2-pass score to start the day for the Fiery Cannons.
We love a quick and easy holiday, Av.
Absolutely. Beautiful offense, just like you were looking for, Lauren. And as we have a look at that replay, that lovely inside break throw, the defender all out of position, of course, once you get it on the break side. And Pembroke does really well to read the disc, read the fall, protect that to make sure her defender was behind her, so the disc fell nicely in her lap.
Yeah, great block out, great hold on to that space, and a very impressive swing to get the defense out of position.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised because, they had a pretty good pull. Cannons couldn't get going very quickly, and I thought they had a chance to set a pretty good defense, but that was just a beautiful pass on that inside flick.
Absolutely.
Just so damaging. It's always good to see all the teammates getting on the line, making sure they can hear what the call is and contribute to the sideline. Do you think that will be a big factor in today's game, Lauren?
I absolutely do. I think keeping in touch with your teammates and tracking what we're doing, what the plan is, having a strong sideline especially to support your teammates and making sure we're communicating effectively is going to be a big key to winning this game.
Absolutely. I think particularly on defense, it can be kind of that eighth defender, like giving information.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because when you're defending, you can't see behind you, so having someone on sideline supporting you is really helpful to know what's happening.
And so clean hold to start the game. Let's see if Nexus can do the same. And Jard, a big shot of their own, and all the way, that's a fantastic layout bid. Raya Mildenhall unfortunately couldn't clasp her hands around it.
A gorgeous, gorgeous bid from Raya Mildenhall. Great runner, great running. Cannons setting up in a vertical stack.
So Taylor Nartz moves it up to Douglas. The tall arms goes for the high release backhand, and lovely swing across now. Simard.
Some beautiful arounds to clear the open space.
Oh, and another big shot goes up. Will it stay in? No, it floats out the sideline. So interesting. Both teams already looking for their big shots early in this match.
Absolutely. It's not very windy, but it's kind of gusty, so you can tell when it picks up. We're seeing a little bit of moving of the disc that we're not expecting.
And Judd on the sideline, bit of a flat mark. She's looking for her dump for that swing, and that one's a little overthrow, but a lovely backup there by Lynch.
Absolutely exactly how they planned it.
I like how she had eyes. Oh, and that one's an unfortunate turnover on the swing to Judd. You can see Taylor Nartz already wanting to get things moving quickly, and she goes a big shot, looking for Nixon, and Nixon just reads that way better than Ella Young.
With some great early movement there on the turnover to make plays quick and make it happen as soon as the disc was picked up. Great movement from Lucy Nixon there.
So Cannons, that's the first break of the game, an early break to really get things started well for them. They'll be really pleased as we have a look at the replay here. So Nexus going for a big shot and a fantastic full extension layout at waist height.
Av, it looks like she just got her fingertips on that there, eh?
She was bloody close. All right, Taylor Nartz, that lovely arcing forehand, just nudged the defender under the path of the disc. That was very smart play by Nixon. Very impressive start for the Cannons.
And you can see the entire Cannons team there supporting, listening, figuring out what the play is going to be next time. Not on your screen, but Nexus is doing very similarly. The entire team's coming out on the field, listening to what's going on. We've already got lots of mud on our bidder.
So as we said, not much wind to speak of at the moment. So, you know, in terms of upwind, downwind points, not really a big factor to play as Nexus work it up quickly by their two handlers.
Yeah, some great handler movement before the defense came on. Oh!
That was a block.
Beautiful hand block. A little bit of discussion, but the play holds. Cannons get a quick turn.
Oh, Valentine just managed to get her body in the way. Oh, managed to defend it with a stomach in the end. Yeah. So Tiang now.
Strong defense from Hazel Broadley.
On Tiang. Tries to squeeze it through the window, but Terry says no. And Nexus getting it moving quickly.
Some quick turnovers from both teams, seeing some great movement on both sides on quick resets and starting the plays quickly.
And we now have a round backhand, but that one is slightly overthrown. And the Cannons, Chambers goes for King. And can King get there? Just that late fade and the trailing disc trails to the ground.
Such a beautiful run from Victoria King there, really turning on the Jets early morning.
Nexus get things going yet again. Oh, and that's a block. And she caught the D. Friends, that's a quick flip, and the Cannons score yet again to go up 3-love.
What a hectic point, Av.
Yeah, that was 5 turnovers in total. So after a couple of very quick points, a perfect hold and a perfect conversion, we had a little bit more of a scrap. But fantastic to see some awesome defensive play from these ladies.
Absolutely. These gals are already very quick moving. You can see they're wide awake. First game of the day.
Oh, and that block just managed to creep across, and I think that was released into the stomach. And Tiang squeezing it through that window, just a little narrow with the 2 receivers coming through.
We're in a timeout at the moment, so just taking some time, letting everybody take a breather after a pretty hectic point there.
Yeah, I think that's expected given that, you know, Cannons have gone up 3-love.
Yep.
So Nexus sometimes just calling a timeout to kind of break that momentum.
Absolutely. Reviewing their strategies, making sure they understand what they want to see, how to have some lockdown defense. Though I will say some very impressive handler defense from Hazel Broadley on that point.
Absolutely. Just knowing, I think she almost like baited it a little bit. She didn't, it was that containment. She managed to step behind and get a bit more width, and that's what enabled her to get the block.
And we're seeing lots of vertical stacks. So that's when our team lines up parallel or perpendicular to the end zone, and we're seeing cuts into open space towards the handlers to really optimize the space on the open side, and have as much opportunity to throw as possible.
For sure, and we're certainly seeing the teams both use their deep space really well so far, so they're coordinating their cuts. It's not just about setting up the space, but it's about timing the cuts well so that your throwers have a really good window to throw into.
Definitely. These teams have some incredible timing, some really impressive running, and great handler movement so far.
Yep. Day 2 is power pool stage. So these two teams both finished pool play, or the first pool play yesterday with 2 wins and 1 loss. And so they're both ranked second in the original pools. And now we have a power pool crossover where we have essentially the top 2 teams of each pool go into the top power pool. And then the 3 and 4 in the original pool go to a second power pool. And then I'm not 100% sure about how these power pools work, but I think, being in this pool, you almost get like a double chance, or, you can get like a path straight through to the semis, I believe, at the end of today.
Looks like we're coming out of our timeout. We're ready to take the next poll.
So we can see the beautiful shirt from that layout bid.
Yeah, Ryan Mendenhall really worked for that one, eh?
And Tiang goes up with a big pull. They've been pretty good ones with a decent float, allowing the defense to get set. And Judd again, really anchoring this offensive line in the handling space. And nice support. Oh, and that's a lovely break around. Can they continue the flow? Oh, and that's 3 outstretched hands of Young, but she gets her shirt dirty as well with a fantastic bid.
Great pushing from Ella Young, really trying on that second attempt. We can see here just continuing to work to try to catch that Frisbee.
And Tiang, I think there might be travel or violation.
Having some conversation about where the disc is coming in.
So they might be asking for some clarification about where they just came in, and being a self-officiated sport, the players will work out the call themselves, although they are very welcome to ask for perspective or clarification from their teammates.
A travel was called.
And that fantastic replay again from Young's bid. We'll see some more dirty shirts, I'm sure, throughout this game. And Tiang looks for that dump. It's a pretty small window, but just a little duck back. Great, Sanders.
Great movement to get it off the sideline there.
Right, and again, back to the security of Tiang, and she goes a big shot. Why not when you've got acres of space? Oh, and that one just trails away from the outstretched hands of Jessica Chambers.
And great movement from Ella Young again to be there on defense, make sure that there's some competition for that disc.
And so Nexus just having to swing it around, but now they gain a few meters through Ryan Mildenhall. And she squeezes up the sideline. Well, fakes a big, but elects for the under. And they're getting a little bit squeezed here. Can the defense try to apply a bit more pressure? Now they force the swings across. Judd again, central space.
Here you can see lots of great utilizing of their handler resets, really running through their handlers, making sure they're keeping stall count low. But now we've got a turnover. Unfortunate for Nexus.
I think Nexus were doing quite well, like you said, to recognize where the open players were. And so just staying calm, cool and collected, choosing an easy pass, but that one unfortunately doesn't work out. So a lot of movement, maybe too much. Oh, and that one's, again, she's going to have to bid. Not quick enough for Pembroke. Nexus at another opportunity. We've already got 4 turns in this point.
Ella Young picking up the disc. Again, really utilizing their handler movement to stay off of the sideline and make good space for themselves.
And Vanderpeet, that one just goes a little too wide. And everyone takes a breath. So a bit similar to the point before, a bit scrappy, Lauren.
Very scrappy, but it looks like our teams are taking some more time to reset the disc, really think about their plays, and optimize their offense.
So Sanders across to Tiang. Still just sticking with those open side throws. The cutters working hard downfield. And the cutters are pretty far away. They're kind of jogging, not really sprinting, so she doesn't really like the downfield looks. Instead, opts for the handler reset to Sanders. Oh, and that one is a little bit too low to the ground. So Nexus wanting to pick up things quickly.
Yeah, we can definitely see the difference in our passes. You're seeing Nexus with over 18 passes this point, with Cannons only having 3 passes. So Nexus really running through their handlers.
And Judd goes a laser through to Ruhlman for a fantastic score after a scrappy point. Nexus getting on the board 1-3.
You could see they were hungry for that one, Av. Yeah, really utilizing their handlers. We had 20 passes through Nexus, whereas Cannons only had 7. Cannons really working on getting those deep looks to their cutters, really utilizing the downfield space, whereas Nexus, as you can see, utilizing the handler space, lots of resets to move their defenders and capitalize on pushing their defenders out of the way. And a gorgeous throw to Samantha Ruhlman to get Nexus on the board.
Yeah, Judd here already being a really key part of the handler set, often sitting in the axis space in the center of the field. So she is not afraid to get her hands dirty into it and make sure to throw some really aggressive shots.
Absolutely, and I want to highlight one more time, Ella Young, one of the handlers for Nexus, really working through that space, finding those resets, finding her teammates, and running a lot of that calm, relaxed offense.
Yeah, I think Young, Vanderpeet, along with Judd, that looks like they've got a really key handler set there, so it'll be interesting to see how they develop and continue to push for the rest of this game. So Mara Neal here, stalwart of the New Zealand ultimate scene. She'll be looking to put a big pull up to get Nexus down on D. I'm sure they'll be hunting for a turnover. And here we go. Nice floaty pull. Defenders are there pretty quickly, putting a little bit of pressure on that first pass and halting the Cannons' quick movement. Svitanovic cutting for the dump, having difficulty getting free, but she manages to shake through. Teo Linarts with the disc. Now Chin on the sideline. Teo Linarts just ducks back. And a lovely inside flick here. Oh, and a really nice long shot, but that one is picked off by Mara Neal. Difficult to get some disc past her. She's trapped on this side, and Chin applies good pressure on the mark. Eventually, Nexus, as we said, they like swinging across. They like changing the angles of attack. Unfortunate slip at an inopportune moment there. Having to retreat back to Neal, and the Stack are going to have to adjust their position because they are very deep at the moment.
They are very deep, but it looks like we're getting some good cuts to the front, some good reset movement. Really impressive resets.
And Judd, not surprised, those aggressive shots looking for Ruhlman. But that one just a little bit too outside in shape and trails out of bounds.
And I want to point out here, we saw the Cannons in the opening once they caught the pull, setting up in a horizontal stack. And it looks like we're doing that again. So as opposed to a vertical stack when we're perpendicular to the end zone, a horizontal stack is going to be parallel. And utilizing more movement, really running through their handlers. It's a great strategy for for teams that are really great at running and really great at optimizing multiple players.
Mara Neal just picks that off on D. She goes a long shot of her own, and the height matchup, I think just won by Ruhlman there. Big fakes, and just a little 1-2. Ruhlman now on the doorstep, and she goes the around backhand, and that is a score. Nexus now clawing things back up to 2-3.
A great break from Nexus. I think they're starting to build confidence after that first score with a long point, a really muscling through that work. And now we're seeing some confidence. We're seeing some strong passes.
Ruhlman there just manages to keep vision of the disc and catches the disc above the head of her defender. Works that nice 1-2 through with Terry. And a lovely little flip to score.
Great job for number 77, Samantha Ruhlman, really staying calm under pressure. And great movement by her downfield teammates, making sure there's space
Sometimes I think when you've got, some really top caliber players on your team who really stand up, like Ruhlman, and Neil was the one who picked off a couple of deep shots on defense, it just makes your team stand a bit taller and have that confidence as well.
Absolutely.
So the dirty shirts featured strongly already today.
Nexus and Cannons both with some very impressive bids to start this game.
Yeah, it took, I think, Nexus a couple of points to warm up. We had a couple of pretty quick, clean points to start from a Cannons offense perspective, but Nexus have well and truly warmed in. Maybe a few more dirty shirts to come. So Aston, hands up there, ready to pull. Just waiting for the signal from offensive Cannons. And the disc goes up. Oh, that's a lovely deep pull just outside the end zone. Cannons sent to the disc and a different look on defense.
A different look on defense. We're seeing some zone.
And, the arrowhead forcing that side-to-side throws, forcing that overthrow.
That's what we like to see on zone. Really forcing people to keep their throws short, make mistakes quickly, and find their offense out of place. Nexus now bringing in the disc.
Very short field, goes up line, but looks like there's a foul call on the throw. Broadly having a chat. So Broadly and Simard just having a chat about the foul. I think Broadly thought that perhaps her arm, I imagine, there was contact with her arm which affected that throw. And it looks like the disc will go back, and it looks like a zero, stall zero. So I'm guessing that's an uncontested or accepted foul.
Contested.
Just getting some information. All right, Broadly goes for an inside flick up to Aston. Uses it back to Broadly, still using that open side well.
Oh, a beautiful find.
Mance, just those fakes to move her defender, and that beautiful floaty backhand on that break side had room for days. I believe that was Terry for the score.
Amelia Mance with the throw. Like you were highlighting, some absolutely gorgeous fakes to pull her defender.
You can see Broadly here just distributing the disc so well and getting up high, but using that open side. See that massive fake just to move the defenders out of place. And a lovely score to finish for Nexus. So we had 3 points to Cannons and now 3 points to Nexus. I'm really excited to see what the rest of this game has to bring.
And Becca Ashton really working hard to pull her defender out of that space as well. And we've got a field mascot for the day. We've got some great supporters, great family, friends, some kiddos, some pups, lots of people out here cheering on these women.
Sure, the Saturday, Sunday is always nice. We have people off work and just having a coffee from the coffee van. And also with no rain today, I think a little bit more appealing for the spectators to come down.
Much more appealing for the spectators. And those gusts of wind I was mentioning already calming down. It's a very easy Frisbee day today. We'll see if it stays that way, though.
So Cannons coming down in a horror set. And looks like it might be a forced middle. Oh, and an early lock. Jard, the disc just falls into her hands. Working with Vanderpeet, as we expected. Ruhlman now fakes. Her fakes are really effective in moving the mark. Opens up that throw to Jard. Turner now with the disc. Her fakes are over hammer throw. But opts for the safe one in Jard. She goes for the longer option, and why not when you've got Bianca Phillip in the end zone. making it look really easy. So that is a 4th point in the row for Nexus and a clean conversion to boot.
That's their 3rd break in a row. So we're getting some break trains. First a couple breaks from Cannons, now a couple breaks from Nexus. Really starting to see Nexus build their confidence as we go into another timeout.
Not surprising when the other team has scored 4 points on the trot. You got to do something to break the momentum. I mean, the timeout before was very effective. As we see that replay, they're getting up nice and high. Phillip had pushed her defender under the disc, so preserved that space out the back. But as we said, the timeout before for Nexus was very effective in stymieing the flow of Cannons. Maybe a little bit of the same medicine. Lauren, what do you think the Cannons team will be cooking up here in this timeout?
I think one of the things the Cannons were doing best when they were getting their breaks early in the game was really utilizing that deep space, capitalizing on the athleticism of their cutters, stretching the stack as far as they could to push their defenders to catch them and run with them. And I think Nexus is doing great to have some more shutdown defense on their handlers to take away those deep looks and make it harder for them to take. But I'm confident if Cannons can really start utilizing their legs and their fitness to push Nexus to the edge, they'll really start seeing some benefits.
The other thing we noticed, Nexus come out the last few points. They had a few different looks on D. Do you want to talk through some of that?
They had a zone look that seemed to be very effective, especially when you've got teams like the Cannons that utilize their deep space. You see a lot more running, utilizing a zone and really forcing the offense to use their handlers, make lots of passes. That's when you can start forcing some mistakes. So Nexus really utilizing their knowledge of the team to try to capitalize on potential weaknesses.
Yeah, I think they brought in that zone, that arrowhead, which forced a pretty early turn. And then the point before, they got the turn so quickly, but I'm pretty sure they were set up in like a more forced middle type of setup.
Definitely a forced middle, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes just giving your opponent a different look just like, unsettles them, gets them on their back foot a little bit. So I wonder if the Cannons potentially, firstly, they got to try and get a clean hold. But after that, making sure they keep applying that pressure. And, we've also felt the energy go up a little bit as well.
Lots more energy from the first couple points. This is the first game of the day. So, pull goes up. Becca Ashton again, throwing some great deep pulls.
And Terry Lenartz moves the disc up to Sanders.
We're seeing another zone defense. So once again, really forcing the Cannons to utilize their handlers, make those resets.
Yeah, you can see Nexus, that front wall moving together really well, trying to contain that continuation, but Cannons do find a way through using their small ball movement this time, showing that they've got more skills than just the big ball.
Absolutely. Cannons making great space, really forcing those defenders to run.
And Tiang gets involved as well, and they move it quickly through, finding the hole in the space. Cannons!
Victoria King really forcing Nexus to stay on their toes, finding that deep space beautifully.
And I just noticed the Cannons bringing a couple of their more classically D-line handlers across. I saw Tiang moving in that space too. Maybe just trying to get a bit more confidence and offensive flow and just try to, maintain possession, which they've had a little bit of trouble in the last couple of points. So maybe a few line switches as well. That timeout might have been strategic to enable that.
Definitely, Av. And once again, we've got a clean hold out of a timeout. We'll see if that shifts momentum for the Cannons the same way it shifted momentum for Nexus.
We see here that beautiful throw, just finding those lovely holes and showing that they've got, more tools at their disposal, not just the big bombs and the deep looks, but the small ball and working through with their legs too.
Some very impressive utilization of handler movement, popping into that defensive cup. And Jessica Chambers here on screen, you can see 3 assists, 2 blocks, 2 turns, really running this cutter group.
So we have it back on serve, 4 apiece, and the sun's starting to peek through the clouds. You can see the players just shielding their eyes with the unusual brightness.
Lucy Nixon, a great pull, pushing it to the sideline to trap him over there.
Oh, a nice early aggressive defense. Oh, and that's a fantastic run through D.
Lucy Nixon, the pull and then the hand block.
Amazing. She pulled and then got down to mark the dump.
What a run. What a run.
So can Cannons get a break? Just finding the line, and a big wide mark set up by Mildenhall. Oh, and just some quick movement side to side. Classic dump swing in the end zone, and a little one pops through.
Helena Svetanovic really keeping it calm for the handlers, running that offense in a short field, staying nice and calm to get that assist.
Yeah, Adelia Tan just... Oh, and we see a replay of this fantastic run through D. The dump was set a little bit too far away, which enabled her to really accelerate through here and just swat the disc away and also gain a few handy meters. Beautiful work. Nixon, and then just a quick little flip. They worked that kind of dump swing movement really well, just stayed patient to look for the open shot.
It can be stressful in short field end zone plays. You really want to score. Oftentimes offensive teams can get a little too excited, a little too stressed out, and start falling out of their strategic plans. But you saw this point, Cannons really stayed disciplined, used their cutters, used their handler motion, and focused on staying calm and keeping the point.
So interesting game of momentum shifts, as we said. Cannon came out firing, Nexus came back, now Cannon scored 2 on the trot. So we'll see if this momentum run continues, or can Nexus maybe put a stop to this one a bit earlier. Nexus coming out in a horizontal on offense. Cannon's doing very well to shut down this underspace. We can see a fair bit of switching happening as well. Really trying to clog up that middle space and trying to make them work the sides and throw some of these overshots. We have seen a few overthrows already today.
The Cannons with lots of strong handler defense, trying to break down the handler resets we were talking about earlier that were a huge benefit to Nexus.
Yeah. And Nexus still not really having gained too many meters. Again, out to the side to Liddell. Oh, and now she seeks one through, a little high, but O'Connor does well to pull it down, and she goes a big shot of her own to the back corner of the end zone. Will she get there? Yes, she will, but is it in bounds?
Ella Young with a beautiful run, but it's just too far out of bounds for her. Turnover to the Cannons.
So after the defense worked really well at that point to keep things, tight, they ended up going for a couple of shots through the side, and then in the end, that deep shot.
And my mistake, that was not Ella Young. That was Stacey Mather with the nice, beautiful running.
So Tiang moves the disc up aggressively to Mance. Oh, and that one just falls to the ground. The Cannons a little bit Nexus a little bit let off the hook with that one.
We're starting to see some of the high energy movement, but got to make sure both teams are able to keep calm under pressure.
So broadly to Terry. Again, just in that central field. Oh, and a
Wow.
run-through block, that baited throw, but that aggressive defense. Cannons come up with another opportunity here.
Sarah Valentine really ready for that run through D. Kept her eyes on that disc the whole time.
And the Cannons now working it through that far sideline. Leah Tiang, we know she likes a big shot. She puts this one up, trusting her receivers. She's got two in the space. Oh, and a second has been attempted, successful. Cannons really fired up here. Fantastic shot by Tiang.
And I believe that was 27 Jessica Chambers pulling it down for the Cannons.
That is a money shot by Tiang. And Chambers just reading that slight ball, as we can see. The previous attempt here, that one just went a little bit too far. The end zone just beat Mather there.
Mather even trying to drag her toe to keep it in, but good spirit calling herself out.
And here, as we see that fantastic D. And that big shot by Tiang. She had two receivers. I think the initial intended receiver ran a little bit under the disc, but she read that outside in. Oh, and she turned around the 180. Very stylish goal by Chambers.
Yeah, Victoria King did well to really pull into that end zone, pull her defender with her. And then Jessica Chambers following the disc, making the athletic play.
I know we couldn't really see it so much on the replays, but in terms of that defense, I want to credit Ellen Sanders. So I think it might have been a bit of a zony look downfield, but what happened was that Sanders is actually parking herself in that central space, in that central underspace. And because she did that, it meant that they had a very narrow channel to throw through, which enabled Valentine to eventually run through because Sanders had created that narrow channel.
Absolutely. Zara Bowen with the pull. Got a little bit of help from a gust of wind just as she started pulling.
A little bit of downwind help.
Cannons coming out with a zone.
Oh, exciting to see something a bit different. As we said earlier in the timeout, sometimes just changing up the look, forcing your opponent to kind of not get as settled can really help to generate some pressure. And sometimes it's not an outright block, but that perceived pressure as well, psychologically. But Nexus working it through. Judd, as expected in that access handler space. Ruhlman this time behind the disc rather than in the receiving area where we're so used to seeing her.
Very fun to see the athleticism of the Cannons directly up against the handler movement of Nexus. This is a great competition and really highlights both teams' strengths.
Oh, and Judd goes for aggressive shot to Ruhlman through the middle, but the Cannons defense working a treat.
That's what zone is for, eh?
Oh, and a lovely inside shot, pointing. She wants the big, but the timing just isn't there, so settles for an undershot, and now the big shot goes up. Oh, and that one, I don't think the receiver was quite on the same page.
That connection from Zara Bowen to Lucy Nixon really helping calm down the offense, but just weren't able to find that deep look they love so much on the Cannons.
So Nexus again through Judd. Vanderpeet in that dump space, and she goes to hammer dump. Love it.
Hammer dump is always the right call, eh?
And so Cannon sticking with that zone, which earned them a block not long ago, and it earns them a second one now, causing that overthrow.
Short field turnover for the Cannons. Let's see if they can capitalize here.
Taylor Nartz with the disc, a sweeping forehand to the fat side.
Gosh.
That one is picked off, and Ruhlman wants it out of there. And it's a high one. Oh, and perfectly read. Nexus now on the run. That was
Roman to Bianca Phillip. What a great find for Nexus.
And Judd goes round the side to the fat wing, and Nexus score.
Who else than Raya Middenhall to catch that point?
Wow, so interesting point after Cannons coming out, absolutely firing on defense, earning 2 turns. Nexus getting the disc back and goes for a big shot. So the big players are here to play. Ruhlman with that huge huck, that sweeping backhand. Phillip did so well, as we see here, picked off the big huck As you see, sitting, she just outread her two defenders. She had plenty of pressure from Taylor Nuts as well.
Phillip did a great job to really hold on to her space and keep her eyes on the disc.
Yeah, and then moves off quickly with some small ball, and then Jard, you know when their space is going to take it, and out that fat side after the defenders having, you know, tried to protect that initial open continuation. Oh, and that's a beautiful throw. Can't do much about that one.
Judd to Middenhall. Talk about a great connection for Nexus.
So it was a hold for Nexus in the end, but a scrappy one. So few turnovers in the last few points. We'll see which team can maybe settle in. I think maybe some clean holds or a clean conversion could really get a lot of confidence in either of these teams.
Absolutely. Out of all the points we've played so far, by we I mean the teams on the field, only 4 of them have been clean holds. All the other points have been breaks.
As a big pull goes up, Cannons now starting on offense.
Trapped on sideline, but a nice quick reset.
So you can see a lot of volume coming from the sideline, helping out this zone defense. Nexus trying to keep the disc moving back side to side, and this one there's going to be an opportunity for a block, and it is successful for Nexus.
Hazel Broadley with a great hand block there for Nexus.
The zone paying dividends, that front wall forcing some high risk throws to that midfield. Nexus working it up through Ashton. Oh, and Ashton, the gloves just a little bit slippery and dewy this morning. That one just slips in and out of the hands.
Kat Taya Lennertz with a great hand block there.
And Taylor Nart's now anchoring this offense. Oh, and she has to go two, but Matha with a fantastic block. She read that disc well. So Nexus, the front wall doing really well to prevent those side-to-side options or force the side-to-side options, but in the end, Cannon wanting to get yards and maybe being a little bit greedy.
Terry with a quick restart. And a contested disc, but a great defense from 84, Zara Bowen, to get the turnover for the Cannons.
It's a very small channel to try and get the disc through, and I think having to ask her to beat both the defender and the sideline was a little bit too much. So another point already with 4 turnovers.
Zara Bowen forcing the turnover and then picking up the disc on offense for the Cannons.
So Cannons moving it through the side, and then a little one just through that first wall.
Helena Svanovic, great job holding on to that Frisbee despite some traffic.
And now they use those overhead passes. Taylor Nartz shaking and baking. Svetanovic.
Nexus going back into the zone.
Has been effective. So Cannon's just trying to work their small ball, trying to work up and around on the side, and then you see a few little cuts through. Taylor Nutt's yelling for her team to come in and pop and generate some movement.
Travel called. So teams discussing the travel. Looks like the disc is going back to the thrower. But some good conversation, great spirited discussion between Nexus and Cannons, trying to sort out how to move forward. As we know, Ultimate is a self-officiated sport, so conversation is huge. Plays back in.
So Nexus, that front wall being very aggressive, and that's also kudos to that second wall, which are pinching in and really stymieing anything in that space just in front.
Michelle Martin with a nice little floaty pass to Zara Bowen.
So Taylor Nartz opting for a high release. That one's way too bladey for Svetanovic. And Nexus get a lucky roll as well to gain a few meters
Once again, 35, Stacy Mather right where she needs to be to make sure that Frisbee hits the ground on defense.
She's playing so well in that wing position, isn't she?
So impressive, her running movement, making sure she's locking down that far side wing.
I think she's, well, we'll talk about it after this point, but there's a big shot goes up from Broadley. Oh, and a little hard on the back up, and that's just out of bounds. So
second chance just out of fingertip range.
The sideline just beats both of the receivers there.
Beautiful throw by Hazel Broadley.
So we'll see Mathers as the wing defense on this sideline. She's doing really well to recognize when to pinch in and really cover those inside options, which almost baits that overthrow. This time the Cannons do manage it, and they are trying to get things moving before the cup is set, but forced to go backwards. So Taylor Nutt's
swings really forcing the defenders on Nexus
Mather was close to that one. She was in a pretty good position, but the disc just moved fast enough. Svitanovic now on this sideline, and they're collapsing to match. You can hear the call from the sideline. So Bowen, an aggressive shot through the cup, and somehow Chin finds a disc in her hands. I thought that was a D for sure. And we have Bowen again now. The sun now causing a little bit of trouble directly in the receiver's eyes, but Taylor Nutt's usually so reliable. That one just falls to the ground. So now vision perhaps becoming a little bit of an issue looking in that direction to the left.
Once again, we're seeing Hazel Broadley with the disc, Michelle Martin with the handler defense.
Liddell, a few fakes, doesn't like that initial upline look, so goes for that inside flick, but the receivers were not on the same page. So Svitanovic,
a quick pickup, not letting the defense set for the zone.
Perfectly weighted in space. Svitanovic
to Ocean Semmerd.
As you see, just forcing that turnover. Liddell wanting that space, but the cut is down for not recognizing that was what she wanted. And the Svitanovic, you know, wanting to get the shot going before the defense set.
A very long point, but a hold for the Cannons.
So a D here by Broadley. Their zone working exceptionally well to gain multiple turnovers this point. And here, Taylor Nutt. So this is Mathers in position. As we said, she squeezed in, baited that kind of longer, wider throw, but knew she had the speed to cover.
Yeah, and something I want to highlight, especially now that we're seeing a bit more zone, is the Cannons' ability to really pull their defenders and reset quickly so that the cup of the zone doesn't get a chance to set on their handlers, and really forcing Nexus to catch up with their restart of play. That's exactly how they were able to get that score, is that fast movement of the disc before Nexus could reset their cup so that they were on the back foot.
I think Ocean Simard read it perfectly. Her defender actually went one way thinking that the disc was going there, but she knew better. She knew there was going to be some outside in shape on that, so she corrected her path really early, and yeah, very smart play there, very smart positioning. As we see a few more spectators now on the sidelines.
And the sun is coming out. So this may become more of a factor. Some sun in the eyes when we're trying to receive, but makes for a great day of Frisbee. Much easier to play in than the rain.
So interesting. Yesterday they were battling with the up and down wind. Today it's the sun glare in your eyes. So conditions can certainly change a game of Frisbee.
A true New Zealand autumn.
So we have the trusty Judd.
A hammer.
Beautiful hammer to Ruhlman. No defenders in sight as Cannons doing a zone of their own for this point. So you can hear the sideline calls, trying to support their teammates on defense. Oh, and Taylor Nutt, she reads that and gets in front. A catch block. Gets things moving. Chambers looking for King. And the Cannons with a very quick score. That is a perfect conversion for the Cannons.
And that is exactly highlights what we were just talking about, Av. That quick movement, really utilizing a turnover to capitalize on their speed. And that takes us into halftime.
Geez, what an interesting game. I think both teams now with zones that have been very effective in generating blocks, but it seems as if the teams who can generate that faster movement in offense and connect with those big shots and continuations downfield, both teams have shown us that they've been able to do it. So maybe it's about who can do it more consistently.
What a grab, too, by Cattail Linnertz.
And King just had steps in front of her defender. She had set that cut up nice and early, knowing that they were going to be in power position to be able to put that shot. So here we go, that kind of upline momentum, and bang, already setting up her cut. Plenty of separation, just wedged so well by King. So a really tough tussle to begin the first game of day 2 here, Cannons versus Nexus. We will see you after the break. And here we are, second half, Cannons v Nexus. We have Nexus starting out on offense after a really exciting half. I'm looking forward to see who can really get settled and stamp their authority on this game. Cannons coming out with a zone. That has worked very well for both teams. So Judd using that small space, and again she has a lovely precise hammer over the top. Turner goes a big shot. Oh, that one's out the back. So Ninka Turner, that was a good look to some nice space, but unfortunately just a little bit too much juice on that shot.
Lucy Nixon bringing it in for the Cannons. Looks like Nexus setting up in-person defense. Apologies, that's...
So Chiang now with the disc. Just stops for a dump, but goes for that aggressive upline. She's looking for the long, but the players haven't really set up in a position for that cut. And that one goes over the head, but well saved. Oh, and that one just picked off by Ruhlman. Judd now back with the disc. Oh, and that channel, that is too easy for Nexus after they got possession back of that disc. So Nexus, not a clean hold, but certainly an effective one to start this half.
Some beautiful defense during that point. Some great defense from the Cannons, really following their offensive marks, tracking the Frisbee, and impressive run through D by 77 Samantha Ruhlman, keeping her eye on the Frisbee, making sure she can grab that. And then 74 Ollie Judd with just a beautiful chilly throw into the end zone.
Just some miscommunication, I think, with the defenders. Tiang just caught on the wrong side of the receiver there. And that is a score for Phillip.
Who other than Bianca Phillip to really shake off her defender and find some open space in the end zone.
She's been very impressive this game, already with 2 goals to her name. And Ruhlman, 1 goal, 1 assist and 2 blocks. So some big stats getters there.
Ruhlman making it easy for us commentators in that red hat. Always easy to find when she's on the field.
Yeah, I think her presence is going to be really felt by both teams. I think obviously helping her team stand nice and tall, giving them that confidence to really be aggressive on offense. And
we can't say enough about Ollie Judd. Ollie Judd with 4 assists this game, really holding down that handler set and making it happen into the end zone.
Very consistent, but I really like her aggressive looks. Like, she picks the right time and the right place to put him. So very, very impressive by Ollie Judd.
Tara O'Connor ready to put up the pull. You can see she's still wearing some of that dirt from her early bid. That's not going to wash out easily.
It's a really nice high pull from O'Connor. You can see Nexus racing down to get set up. So,
Svetanovich, again, our main handler here on the Cannons.
Teo Linarts, oh, and that's a little short, and that's fantastic pressure by Mathers on defense on the mark. And Nexus with an opportunity to break here. Terry now, the lefty flick, that one is a little bit overthrown. So just a little bit of rush of blood to the head. I want to credit Mathers, who put a really, really emphatic mark to cause that turnover. Teo Linarts. Oh, and a big shot goes up. Ah, that one's out the side as well. So maybe a little bit of wind just pushing the disc towards the camera direction now.
A beautiful throw, just a little bit too much wind.
And let's see that defense here. So the Cannons here, I think that might have been Mance, who manages to get fingertips on it. And just out the side. So now a little bit of wind for the players to contend with.
The disc going back up to where it first went out of bounds, which is why Terry brought it up so far.
Oh, that one just slips through the fingers, but that backup works. Langridge moves it to Terry. And Langridge with outstretched hands. Aston now on the far side. Oh, punches that one nicely through the two defenders. And Langridge with a bladey flick over to Mathers!
What a grab!
One-handed disc coming in at speed.
And finishing it off with the kick spike.
Mathers has been working so hard this game, especially on defense. You can just see the energy, that desire, that grit and want for the disc. She gets rewarded with a fantastic goal there in the end zone.
And what a great find for the handlers between those two defenders.
So here we have the overthrow.
Yeah, and you'll see not quite yet. We've got this overthrow, second chance grab.
Langridge does well there.
And then here we go, 81 just shooting it right between the two defenders.
Yeah, Aston, really creative throw.
And then we've got a great grab. Oh, man. Stacey Mather just working so hard on both sides of the disc for Nexus. And Langridge with a nice blade, finding Mather right where she was about to be.
So interesting time to call a timeout here. I guess, you don't want to let the other team get away too quickly with Nexus having scored 2 points in a row and a break to boot.
Once again, we're seeing a hold and then a break, so
momentum swings galore.
probably taking a pause here just to try to prevent more break trains from happening.
Yeah. Although teams only have 2 timeouts per game, so Nexus is now... Cannons, I think, have now burned all of them.
Once again, our favorite shot of our sideline pups. Some great supporters out here today.
Everyone decked out with their camp chairs and a picnic rug.
It's going to be a great day of Frisbee. If this game is any indication, we've got some fantastic Frisbee for you coming today and tomorrow. Yesterday was also a fun day of Frisbee. But man, hiding from the rain, getting some beautiful sun, coming out, touching some plastic. We're coming back from the timeout here. Nexus on the pull.
I'm sure they'll be looking for a big one to continue this momentum. Maybe this is a game of who is able to stop the other team's momentum more quickly.
Definitely. This is certainly a tale of who's got the confidence with the Frisbee. I think both teams showing their skill and prowess, but really capitalizing on the holds to become breaks and build their confidence utilizing their teams. We can see, Cannons have had 5 breaks, Nexus have had 4, only 2 clean holds for the Cannons, and over 20 turns for both teams. So this has been a really choppy game, a really competitive game. Having so much fun watching these women play some high-level Frisbee.
Sure, I think the interesting stat there was Cannons have managed 2 clean holds and Nexus none. So they're having to work a little bit harder perhaps for the offensive points. So Taylor Arts to Chiang. So Chiang brought over from the D-line to the O-line now, maybe just to increase that offensive strength, maybe looking for their 3rd clean hold at this point. Oh, and she slices through to the middle. Oh, that's a fantastic shot. All alone. I don't think they want to do that too often to King. Oh, and just dices through. Somehow she makes that disc stick to her fingers. She looks at it in disbelief.
Ocean simmered. What a fantastic grab. You can see her showing off. She got it with just one hand with the fingertips of fingertips and managing to not even run out of bounds. What a beautiful grab.
This broke it open. So this shot from Tiang goes through chop. I think they, that zone defense just was caught out and didn't have enough time to put any containment on. Somehow Simard manages to control that disc. I think it was sitting on her fingertip.
Let's see if we can see that grab.
And Chambers has been a really integral part. That was Chambers to King, back to Tiang, and shoots it through to Simard.
Didn't even use the other hand, just snagged it between the knuckles. And that point we could see an interesting defensive look by Nexus. Looks like they were playing some pretty strong person-to-person handler defense with a much looser zone look for the cutters in the backfield. And Cannon's really able to capitalize once they got past Nexus's handler defense to find the open space, use their cutters who also have fantastic throws, and really force that open space look.
I think strategically that was really well done by the Cannons. Chiang is often their D-line handler, as you can see here on screen, about to get the pull, so pulling double duty here. But just having that, like, she has really aggressive throws, right? And she can throw some beautiful shots which really break open those zones.
Cannon coming down in the zone again.
So Nexus this time working it up pretty quickly through the sideline to O'Connor. And back in board. So O'Connor and Terry working it through, and that one goes up and through the fingertips.
Some great give and go between the handlers to get some movement on the sideline, but unfortunately a turnover.
Still no clean hold for Nexus. So there's a clean hold to start the clean hold in the last point for the Cannons, but here Nexus give up the disc. So Chiang again, let's see if she can make something happen.
Getting
the
to a high stall count.
She goes for a sweeping shot, and that's Chambers, who's been so valuable for the Cannons. And she's waiting for Chiang to catch up. She does for the up line, and now Aston is out of position, but she manages to negate her receiver's impact there. And Chiang goes up line. Another shot, well done here by Sanders. They're squeezing it up the sideline using the upline cuts, and they now go for the swing to use the space, and that is well put out in front. Oh, and Chiang gets to her knees, indicates for the long option, but none forthcoming. Chambers goes for the upline yet again, so powerful for the Cannons. And another upline. Next going to have to stop these. Oh, and that is just a last-minute drop. Fell in and out of the hands for Hammond.
Cannons on that possession really feeling comfortable with the higher stall counts. You could see they relied on their handlers and utilized that time to find a good look as opposed to panicking.
I think when the Cannons are on offense, they just look so powerful, whereas Nexus, they're just not as, convincing with the disc. As we see here, working it through broadly. Oh, and there's a couple of defenders who are sniffing.
What a find.
Oh, and a big shot. The lefty flick goes up, looking for Mather. He scored that fantastic goal earlier, but Tian gets in the way.
Some great quick throws coming from Nexus, utilizing that reset.
So Sanders works up to Tiang, ever reliable. Again, that powerful upline cuts. Nexus need to find a way to stop these because they are absolutely punishing. And lovely work here by Sanders again. Chambers to get open. She gives a little nod to Chiang, tells her to go up line. She obliges. And goes inboard. Pembroke swings across to Sanders. Yep, using that wide side, using the width of the field well. And Sanders has to wait for the dump to get free. Chambers eventually shakes her defender. Oh, and a lovely look into that break side. The downfield cutter's just a little slow off the mark to get there in time.
Yeah, sorry for cutting India Ave, but some great around breaks on that point for the Cannons.
Oh!
And then a beautiful pop-up defense by 37, Ellen Hammond.
Absolutely. So she drops that one in the end zone, but she makes amends for it by grabbing that fantastic D.
That's what we call in the States conservation of greatness.
So Tiang looks for Sanders, but she's covered well, and that one's a high-risk shot, but Chambers, between two bidding defenders, just outreaches, and another upline shot here.
Lefty backhand.
Chiang now. Chiang, Chambers, and Sanders really marshalling this, and she uses the break side well. And that is a score for Cannons with a goal to Pembroke.
Once again, the Cannons on that point really showing their capacity for those around breaks, getting past their defenders, pushing towards that open side to really challenge the defense. We can see the turnover here by 37, Ellen Hammond.
Oh, this was a fantastic bid.
What a grab.
Had to get horizontal, and 2 defenders already closing in on her, like little lefty flick as you called.
And then here we can highlight those arounds, really forcing their defenders out of position, getting themselves off of the sideline. And you can see all of the cannons with their defenders on the opposite side of them. So that space was wide open for a score.
I think also because the cannons have been using that upline strike cut so well. And so the defenders were kind of, protecting that, which is fair enough. But then it means that break side, that around break opens up because they've tried to cover the upline so well. So they're out of position for that continuation. So, cannons showing that, hey, if you shot down one thing, I've got something else that I can do to get around you.
They are really going deep into their bag of tricks. And here we're seeing some good boys with some tricks to do.
Yeah, a couple of doggos on the sideline now. They're excited for the end of this game because it's certainly been a really interesting one of the momentum swings. I have to say, right now, Cannons are looking really good after that timeout. They have scored 2 in a row as well. So it's 2-2 in the first half already.
It truly is a game of timeouts.
Timeouts and little swings here in momentum swings.
Beautiful give and goes.
Young and Judd working together well. Now Bogacki gets involved and using some small ball to cut through the defense. I like this look. Oh, and that's fantastic grab, a little bit behind Ruhlman. She now goes a big option. That's to fantastic space. And that is a quick score and a clean hold. Rebecca Lynch with the goal. So that is Nexus' first clean hold of the game.
First clean hold of the game, coming when they need it most. And Nexus showing one of their major strengths, which is their small ball, their handler movement, and keeping cannons on their toes. You can see here some great movement. Who other than 77 Samantha Ruhlman with the gorgeous fingertip grab, and then finding her teammate Rebecca Lynch in the end zone. Nexus on the pole. This is our Wellington team, the team locals.
So now, again having to contend with the sun. So it's just peeked out of the clouds once more. Cannons with their backs to the sun, so not having to contend with it, but Nexus, if they do manage to generate a turn, might just have to be a little bit careful of that glare. And we have a big pull. Nice high one as well. Plenty of float. Forces Teo Linarts all the way to her defending end zone line. Having to wait for the disc to fall, and just a little centering pass with not many meters gained. Again, that Nexus zone, and that one, unfortunately, couldn't bobble that, couldn't control.
Short field for Nexus. Let's see if they can keep calm and turn this over. Turn it into a nice clean break for them.
Oh, and that around break shot by Broadley. What a gem. Punches it through. Nexus with a clean conversion this time.
Clean conversion, single throw, Broadley to Ashton. What else can you say?
The shirts are getting dirtier, but the points are getting cleaner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's the best description of this game I could think of.
So here, just that zone forcing that wide shot, and probably just didn't quite get in a good position for the fall of that disc. 3 outstretched hands, and Broadly, I don't think they expected her to throw that around break, but just slips under the arm of her mark, and Aston just drives through to that cone.
And a tale of two halves at this point. Our first half, we had lots of confidence, lots of breaks in a row, some pretty consistent teams scoring four breaks and then 3 breaks for the other team. This one, we're seeing a hold and then a break for one team, a hold and then a break for the other. Lots of strong competition coming in. Looks like they're really getting to know their opponent and capitalize on each team's strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, as you said, but you're able to halt momentum a little bit more quickly for both teams in this second half, so it's a copy-paste, basically. It's a hold and break for Nexus, hold and break for Cannons, and then a hold and break for Nexus. So is there going to be another hold and break for Cannons next?
Let's see if Cannons can hold or if Nexus is going to get another break.
And another very good pull. Chiang watches the disc all the way into hands. Very safe there to receive the pull. And Nexus again with that very aggressive zone. You can see that second wall really push in very close to the disc here. So stopping any of those plays in that kind of popping area or just in front of the disc. Oh, and Tiang, of course, she finds a hole all the way through. Now off to the races. King's now got it on the sideline as the zone sets again. So Chambers, Sanders, they've been supporting Chiang so well on this line. And just working it side to side now. Nexus do well to hold things up. They're downfield, far away, but manages to get it through. And King is the queen here. Valentine to King with the score for the Cannons. So as the pattern has gone, Cannons do hold.
Let's see if they can get a break on the next one. Now we're going to see the replay. Watch this beautiful step out.
Oh, that is gorgeous. Chambers. You know, if it's not Chiang, it's Chambers or it's Sanders just dicing through that zone. I thought that the downfield had set up a bit too far, but turns out that was exactly where she wanted it.
And King with those sticky fingers, just able to pull in her 3rd goal of the game.
And a lovely assist there. Beautiful.
You mentioned when the point was happening, Nexus had a really, really tight defense. They were playing very close to the handlers, really trying to make it difficult. But as soon as Cannons got that swing to the open side, a lot of their downfield cutters were wide open for some of those big throws that Cannons have been doing really, really well this entire game.
Yeah, it's always really difficult in that second line of defense. You know, you've got the 2 wings on the sides and then that middle, or the short deep, or whatever you like to call it. But sometimes when the wings get too sucked into the play and they leave that sideline open, as you said, really punishing, the Cannons are like, oh, I got that all day, every day. And then the zone are already on the back foot.
Nexus now playing into the sun.
So also electing for a zone here, Cannons. And we see Chambers is on already, an early block for King. Showing she can do it on both sides of the disc. Just waiting. Chiang in power position. Oh, and of course, King! Again, that is 2 scores to King in a row.
King with the bookends as well. The catch D to then score the goal. And once again, we see some great flexibility from Tiang. Watch this great grab. King just right there, read it the whole time. Snatches it out of the air. Sets to Tiang. And then takes off for the score. What a beautiful defensive point. And once again, we've got another hold and a break.
Oh, it really is going as to the script, isn't it, Lauren?
It truly is. Couldn't have written it better myself. What a fun game.
Interestingly, the Cannons put pretty much the same line on for 2 points straight, right? Because we saw King, we saw Chiang, we saw Chambers all pulling double duty for that line. So clearly this line having a lot of confidence. As you can see, King here, 4 goals and a block to boot. Two of those stats in 1 point for her. So really ruling the roost at the moment, Victoria King.
King and Tiang on the Cannons have really shown up this second half, especially running the handler set for Tiang and running the backfield for Victoria King. Just so impressive with their movement and their heads up offense and defense. We're seeing Zara Bowen once again with the pull. She's had some deep ones recently. She's put him beautifully on the side of the field as well, forcing the Nexus to push off of the sideline early in and capitalize on their handlers.
That's a fantastic point. I think when you have a puller that can place the disc where you want it, there's that added advantage, right? Like if you're playing a trap sideline and you try and start them off on the sideline, especially with those long floaty pulls, it gives your defense chance to put pressure on that first initial centering pass.
What a perfect pull right on the end zone. Gave her Cannon's teammates time to come down, just like you were saying.
So Broadly now moves the disc up. And so the stall count rising. Oh, and an unfortunate time slip. But Nexus works through Aston. And Judd, no surprises there, getting involved in the play. And moves it up again to O'Connor. O'Connor with a bladey flick, but better read by the Cannons defender. And Teo Linarts, Svitanovic working together. They move the disc wide. I like the fact that they're not afraid to use the disc. Oh, the width of the field, but that one just goes awry. Svitanovic a little bit low to her feet. So Broadly now with a pretty short field to work with. Looks like they're going to set up in a verts jack. It's a swing to Terry and Judd working hard. This time starting in the deep space rather than behind the disc. Oh, and O'Connor, oh, she looks so open to that front cone, but maybe a little late on that cut. So Terry now looking for a dump in Judd. Ever reliable. They're working hard for those open side cuts, but Judd doesn't like the separation. Oh, and she now goes for a high stall blade flick. That is brought down by the Cannons. And again, Cannons now with another opportunity here. Svitanovic has a little shimmy up line. The next up line cut, not enough separation, so she goes for a beautiful inside flick. What a buttery biscuit.
Svitanovic with just beautiful throws all game.
So Bowen now in the center field, works with Svitanovic, and they squeeze it up that sideline. Svitanovic again driving this point, and that one's a little bit beyond chin. Cannons, another opportunity gone begging.
An unfortunate turnover, but the Cannons doing really well to work it upfield and once again utilizing their downspace, utilizing their incredible throws to push as far down the field as they can. Just a little outside of the end zone for them.
They did work it up quite well, and I guess at least this turn is quite far upfield. Nexus having to work down the full field if they're going to score this point. So a lot of fakes by Broadly, but able to get it through the middle field. Nixon. Oh, and a big shot. So much separation by O'Connor. That is an absolute dime for Nexus.
What a throw by Becca Aston, and what a run by O'Connor.
Wow. So Nexus, a hold, but a dirty one to go with O'Connor's dirty shirt, as we see here on the replay.
And yeah, once again, just caught it, wound up, saw O'Connor running. That's one way to get it all the way down the field.
Oh, and with a nice celebration as well with the disc there. So this little inside flick throw, that was power position to Aston. And that enables, you know, the perfectly timed cut from O'Connor. Look at that yards of separation.
And as a handler myself, I can attest that's always such a fantastic feeling when you know you've got the power position, you know you've got a cutter you can trust downfield, and then you don't have to run downfield yourself.
It'd be interesting to see if Nexus can continue using the break side of that field. Because I think once you get one shot to the break, the defenders are all out of position if they're playing a match defense. And so you can really absolutely stamp your authority by working that break side better.
Ollie Judd we're seeing here getting ready for the pull. We can see she's had 4 assists. As we were talking about earlier, she is one of the stalwarts of the handlers. She's always so calm outside of the end zone, really running her offense and making sure that everybody's where they need to be to find the spaces.
It was interesting because that last point, I noticed that Judd didn't actually start in that back handler space. She started downfield. So I don't know if that's, you know, strategic in terms of they're sending like a really strong defender and they want to try and get her in a different space to attack from, just to try and deter, you know, that expectation. You know, try and surprise the other team and put them off kilter. So a nice floaty pull goes up. Taya Linnartz now, centre disc, moves it across to Nixon. Oh, and that one is not complete. Cannon's giving the disc up in a short-turn situation. Ruhlman races to pick it up and looking for Judd. Surprise, surprise. So Judd doing another point here, and she goes a big hammer, but that one just plays too quickly into the grass.
Looks like there's a call on the hammer, though. From where we're sitting in the commentator's booth, it looks like Judd is saying the defender might have gotten a hand on it. Yeah, we can see there the Cannons player just getting her arm a little bit.
On almost that follow through. Has she released the disc yet?
Had she already released the disc? Looks like it's a contested foul. Disc is going to go back to Judd. She's going to get a second chance at this.
She's had a few great hammers already this game, and that one was just a little off her usual accuracy. So maybe just that slight contact on that follow through did impinge that last little, you know, little flick of the wrist for that throw. So it's a contested foul. So the disc will come in on, looks like 4. And powerful upline cut by Young, who was hot to start this game, but good to see her work back in now towards the latter stages. Just a little easy dump across to Ruhlman. Now, coming back over to this break side. If Nexus can use this break side well, I think they're looking really punishing. But a pick is called to stop the play.
And Cannons, Nexus, again, I want to highlight, really using their handler resets effectively, making sure they're staying off of the sideline to use as much of the field as they can, whereas we've seen Cannons really utilize that sideline, utilize their bigger throws.
All right, so we've got Young with the disc. They've been pushed back a little bit for territory. But a nice open side cut to open things up, and then a little around, and Young there with the catch and the goal. Nexus just powering through that open side.
Toya Bogatsky, we haven't gotten to talk much about her so far, but that was a beautiful assist to get the goal. A great throw and good heads-up play to make sure that she stays on the offense. You can see here they're both going to reset. Both Judd and Bogatsky try to reset. Judd pulls back, lets Bogatsky take that catch, and then just a gorgeous upline throw to Ella Young.
I actually quite like the fact that it wasn't the usual culprits. It wasn't Judd. It wasn't Ruhlman that were involved. I mean, they were, earlier in that point, but, these not so, I guess, well-established stars really stepping up for the Nexus team and showing that they've got some really good skills on display.
Nexus has done a fantastic job utilizing their depth and really cycling through their players, keeping legs fresh and optimizing as much as they can. Once again, we've had a clean hold and then a break.
When are we going to be surprised, Lauren?
We're also up to 91 minutes in the game, so
soft cap.
We're at our soft cap. which means our final score will be 13, if I'm correct.
Should be game to 13, yep. All right, so tail end. So it is 12-11. And if we are copying and pasting the script for the second half, then Cannons will hold this next point to win the game. But can Nexus turn the script? Can they come out with their really aggressive zone? Can they generate a block and a turnover? I think Nexus, they've been showing plenty of grit and determination. They've had to work really hard this game. Can they really accelerate through the last few points? Oh, and Cannons work their way through the middle. And you can hear the sideline so loud, and there's a big shot that goes up from Teo Linarts to King. Can King get there? No, she can't. Oh, and Nexus indeed earn a chance.
Can Nexus take this to a universe point?
Oh, the energy from the sideline has gone up a gear. I am loving this volume. So Judd to Ruhlman. Back to Judd, just working it with the handlers. Pretty static downfield, and they're very far away. So perhaps Nexus intentionally trying to work things through the handler set before connecting downfield. So haven't gained too many meters, just working side to side. O'Connor working hard to pop, but is looked off and goes for a hammer over the top.
What a beautiful hammer. It looks like we're seeing a bit of a junky zone from Cannons. Yep.
So Boguski working with Judd. Oh, and another hammer. She's working over the zone so well.
Judd hammers are a thing of legend at this point in this game. They've been so effective.
So Mildenhall to Boguski. Through to O'Connor. The dirty shirts working together.
O'Connor, what a fake to get her defender on the ground. And then converted. We're going to universe.
Wow. Nexus
breaks the trend of a hold and a break to go to universe.
So they held, got a break, and they've got a second break, and at a crucial time in the game.
What a crazy game this has been. Thank you for joining us here on ULTI.TV. This has been so much fun to cast, so much fun to watch. The energy on this field is insane.
One last point to finish it off. You know what was so interesting in that point? We've seen Judd throw some overthrows. You know, she's had some really pinpoint hammers this game. But a few of her other comrades managed to also throw some overshots, you know, just using that little pop, that high release backhand. So throwing out some different tools in the tool shed that they had hidden away for the beginning of this game. And now, crunch time, they're like, we got this. We're going to show you some skills.
Samantha Ruhlman also taking advantage of her height, getting those overs on her defender. We can see 56, Tara O'Connor breaking her mark. 58, Toya Boguski with that over. And then Sam Ruhlman with the nice, beautiful grab.
Interesting. I think Cannons might have maintained that zone look, or maybe their match just couldn't catch up. But Sam Ruhlman was free all day, and you can't let her have that much space. She's going to punish you every time. How exciting, universe point.
One more point to win the game.
So can Nexus replicate what they did in the first half and get a third break straight to win this universe point? Not if the Cannons have anything to say about it. So Sanders, that first pass, fantastic defense to shut down that first option.
Nexus got down so quickly to cover that off.
They've gained no meters at all, Cannons. Chiang working hard, and that's a high shot. Oh, and a bobble, but manages to be saved by Bowen. Oh, and this Nexus defense is just stifling. Looking for options, and King to the rescue. Oh, and a shot up. Chambers now, midfield, marked by Mather. And a lefty backhand there for Chiang, but no one is in the deep space. I thought there might be someone looking for that shot, and bidding broadly. Bowen secured the disc on this sideline. Comes back to Sanders. Oh, and through a couple of defenders. Chambers again showing that the pressure is no match for her.
Broadly working so hard on the Nexus defense to get this turnover.
Cannons being very patient. They know this is Universe Point, looking for those 100% options. King now comes in, looking for a dump. And Bowen there to Sanders, ever reliable. And an upline, powerful cut, Bowen. Is this going to be the last shot? And it is Cannons! They win Universe Point!
A clean hold to win the game after so many breaks. What a game from the Cannons and the Nexus.
Oh, fantastic to see. Both teams working so hard. You can see how much it means to the Cannons there. Show of emotion on the field. This was a game of momentum swings. One team getting up, the other team coming back and pushing through. You couldn't tell who was going to win the game. You couldn't tell, who was the dominant team, and that really was evidenced by that Universe Point.
Both teams really capitalizing on their strengths and finding ways to utilize their other team's weaknesses. This was such a fantastic game of strategy, of zone defense, of deep looks. This game truly had everything. What a way to start day 2 of the tournament.
Absolutely, and make sure you stay tuned. We've got plenty of more exciting Ultimate coming up. And next game is the Opens division starting at 11 with Otakaro Taweg and Otakaro Punters. So make sure you tune in. This is signing off Avril Tam and Lauren Burgess.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
ULTI.TV